This bill is designed to strengthen training requirements for judges and provide them with important insight into the myths and stereotypes that too often surround sexual assault.
That was Justice Minister David Lametti reintroducing a bill that made it all the way to the Senate in the last Parliament but died when the election was called. Bill C-5 will require all newly appointed Superior Court judges to undergo training in sexual assault law and social context. It will also require the Canadian Judicial Council to report on judges' participation. This type of legislation was first introduced by former interim Conservative leader Rona Ambrose back in 2017. I spoke with her a bit earlier today. Take a listen. Hi there. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for coming in. I was thinking back to when this bill was first introduced, when it unanimously passed in the House. And
we were young then. It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. And but that's kind of my point.
Yeah.
What does it say to you that it took this long to get back here today?
Well, first of all, it says people care about this issue because it's back again today. It got stuck in the Senate for a while for lots of different reasons, but look, the House of Commons passed it, or at least passed motions and the bill unanimously 3 different times. And those are our elected representatives of this country. They represent people that call in and talk about this issue, care about this issue, and it's back on the agenda again. So I'm glad to see that happen. And this is an issue that is so above politics. And I was thinking back actually to when it was first introduced. I was a Conservative leader of the opposition. You know, Thomas Mulcair was the NDP leader. He seconded the bill, and then Justin Trudeau at the time had to support it. He wanted to support it, but to make it move forward. And, you know, fast forward today, we've got Jagmeet Singh supporting it, Elizabeth May supported it. You know, it's everyone has been a part of this every step of the way. It hasn't been, it was my bill, but it never would have happened if all parties and all members of Parliament hadn't worked together.
And it's interesting because you said that a lot today when you were talking about it. And I think there is a conception among people that that doesn't happen often, right?
It doesn't happen often.
And I just wanted to get your perspective on that. How unique do you think this is, and why this issue, why does that rise above politics in this instance?
I think everyone in the House of Commons wants to support victims of any crime, but particularly sexual assault, because whether it's the Me Too movement has really opened this up in a political way, the reality is 95% of women that are sexually assaulted remain silent. They never report it. And the more we hear about these statistics, I mean, anyone across this country, but for sure people who are elected who really listen to this kind of stuff say, whoa, we can do better here. There's got to be a way to improve this reporting. There's got to be a way to build more confidence in our system so that women want to report and they feel like they'll get justice in our courts.
Were you hesitant at all to appear, for example, with the minister today, or just because of the politics right now? Did that ever occur to you, or?
You know, I thought about it for about 2 seconds, and I just thought, look, I have worked with every party on this issue for 3 years. I'll work with anyone who wants to work on this issue. And look, Andrew Scheer put it in his platform. All the Conservative members of Parliament adopted it and supported it last time around. The Bloc has supported it. They came out today saying, look, we'd vote for it right now if it came forward. This has been a nonpartisan issue from the beginning. So the fact that the Justice Minister happens to be a Liberal that is now supporting it, that's actually really important, because it's one thing for me as a private member to say when I did, this is really important. But for the Justice Minister of Canada to stand up, and he's the guy who, at the end of the day, appoints all the judges he has a lot of sway to say this is a necessary piece of legislation. Let's move this forward, is important. I mean, I have every confidence that if Andrew would have won the election, whoever, Rob Moore, our justice critic, Justice Minister Rob Moore, would be standing there doing the same thing. This was in everyone's election platforms. Everyone was committed to it. And I'm glad today it's moving forward.
On the elected side, they were, right? In the House,
yeah,
everybody
that's right.
has been. On the Senate, and I remember speaking to you over the past 2 years when it was, to be totally fair, stuck in there,
it
right?
Was stuck.
And there, you were critical of the Senate during that process. I think you used the term like it's an old boys club, or at the time. And you
so
were,
there's a little group.
Yeah, and there were, in particular, I mean, there were a lot of Conservative senators standing in the way at the time. What responsibility do they bear for how long this process took? And today, what's your message to them?
My message to them is, look, I think we did a lot of work when it was stuck in the Senate to make the case that this is an issue that matters to all Canadians, that this is above politics. Look, at the end of the day, we got somebody who was the former Attorney General under Pierre Trudeau was opposed to it. He's now in favor. We've got a former judge who was opposed. He came around. He's now going to be the sponsor of it in the Senate. We did a lot of work to sway people with important facts and, you know, explaining what the bill's about. I mean, information really helped. And so if there are still naysayers, I'm happy to meet with them one-on-one and really explain to them why this is important and it's necessary.
Before I let you go, I do want to ask you about the Conservative leadership and your own decision, if you don't mind, because ever since Andrew Scheer announced he was resigning, your name was right away the top of the list. The polling that was done said that you had the best shot of winning. Ultimately, I remember the reasons that you put forth when you announced that you weren't going to run. Why did you consider it for as long as you did?
I think because so many people reached out, and also I love my party and I love the people in it, and I just felt like it was the right thing to do to really truly consider it. And it is such a big job and it's such an important job that I felt like I needed to go through every step to make sure I was making the decision for the right reasons. And I was still at the same spot after I went through everything. I like my life how it is today, and I like my private life. I like to work on issues like this, and I'll continue to do that. But I wish all of the candidates well. I'll be there to support the party, support the new leader, and watch the process unfold.
In the vein of this legislation and sort of the causes that you champion, I noticed that in your announcement you said, "I know we'll choose a good leader, and I'll be there to support her or him." There are women running for the leadership right now, but they are not the front runners, I think it's fair to say. What does that say to you? Is that a problem?
Well, that's a problem in all political parties. And so, you know, that weighed on me too. I want to see more women run. But look, we have a lot of incredible women. Candice Bergen thought about it for a while. She's an incredible leader. Michelle Rempel's obviously very well known and popular in the party. She's still considering it. Just the fact that we have this bench strength of smart, competent, strong women, you know, there's still an opportunity to step forward, but there's also still the future. And I do think that, you know, you look around Parliament, and I'd like to see more women step up in general.
Do you think there is something about it that makes them hesitate to step into that role? Like, do you think there is something that we should be worried about, I guess?
No, I don't think so. I think that women consider it very seriously, and they look at all aspects of the job and they make a decision. But no, it's not because, I mean, I know the job. I've been there, seen it, been close up to it. Those weren't the reasons because I feared losing, or it was because I just like what I'm doing now. So I think you have to, you know, respect people's decisions. But I also think, you know, I'll continue to encourage women to seek public office. It's a great opportunity.
What's the biggest challenge ahead, do you think, for your party?
Running a race. I mean, all you have to do is look south to the Democratic race. I mean, it all looks polarized and divisive. That's the nature of races. In fact, when you're on the inside, it can be sort of fun because, you know, you're in one camp and there's another camp, and you want a competitive race. You want competing ideas. It'll absolutely look chaotic for a while. That's the nature of leadership races. And then you pick a leader, everybody comes together, and you follow through, and you go into the next election. And I have every confidence that our membership will pick the person they think is the right person, and off we go. So, you know, that's the cycle of politics.
One more question, just because I have you here, and also there was a lot of rumors that you might be appointed to be ambassador to the United States. Any truth to those rumors?
No, it's funny. No one's ever actually asked me. I keep reading all this stuff in the paper. No one ever asked me. No, I've never been asked.
You weren't asked?
No, I wasn't asked. It's a compliment. Thank you. But no, I wasn't asked.
If asked, would you consider?
You know what? I think with those things you should consider. But as I've said, I really do like my life where I'm at.
Okay, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Ms. Ambrose. Appreciate your time today.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.